Recording. Hello and welcome to the I Am Self-Love Challenge, the Mirror Mirror. It's really good to have you guys. This is day 4. So in day 4, we have written or we're writing our future story. So as we go through this, we talked about in day 1, we talked about the mirror work and the power of what the mirror work does inside the mirror mirror book that you all have that was downloaded in your email. So every time you get a replay or anything, that book is in there. You did have to sign up for the event. I can send it to you. I have put this out in the classroom, so there might be people who are here who haven't signed up or on the replay. So yeah, the mirror work is really vital to our state of being, especially in the beginning of our work, because that's where all of our stories lie, within our eyes. As we open up to our soul, our experience, when we look in the mirror and say, I love you, or stare in the mirror, things come up, things process through us. And so as we begin to gather more information, sometimes the information's not good. Sometimes it's, I don't like you. Sometimes, this is why nobody likes you. Sometimes it's amazing, like, wow, this is okay. We got this. Eventually, your story about your story will change in who you are. And so then day 2, we talked about writing a story that told who you were. The value of story writing is so that you know who you are. You see your changes, you see where you want to change, you see where you want to stay, you see what you love. That's the value of writing your story. As we moved through this week, then we went into what would it be like to have a life that loves you back? And so we talked about the Dream.Believe.Create process, which is in the book, which is section 3 about. And in that, you're writing your future story. So as you create the images, so in the book is the exact description. I'm going to see about, hold on, not this one. Give me a moment, everybody. Okay, so what page is this one? This is page 3. Okay, so in the Dream.Believe.Create process, you go through these pillars, these 5 pillars of who you are. Working with the 5 pillars in your quiet space, look at the 5 pillars of life. No need to panic that you don't know what they are off the top of your head. They're listed below, along with some questions to help you get started using the Dream.Believe.Create process. Number 1, love. How do your relationships work in your life? How do you want them to work? Who would you be in a relationship with if you had all your needs and desires fulfilled? What would you what would you offer if you felt truly free and truly received? How would that make you feel? Then the next one is body. How do you physically move, look, and behave? What would you like to change about your physical experience and being in your body? How would this experience be different if it were grounded in a deep, passionate love for yourself? That last sentence is such a game changer there, isn't it? Takes you from the into the wow. Spirituality. How connected are you with what you practice? Now, I know it sounds sort of funny to talk about spirituality this way, but let's do it anyways. What's your dream practice? What is your dream relationship with spirit or God? 4, finances. How are you with the flow of money in your life? How would you be in your dream finances? This is not necessarily how much. Don't limit your potential like that. Stop and think about who you want to be in regards to your finances. What kind of experience do you want to have? And then number 5, work. How is your work life? Passionate, thrilling, making a difference? What is your dream job? What would you be doing? How would you be feeling? With whom would you be working? So then you go into in there on how to apply the processes so that you could expand out into a greater, larger, deeper version of you and what you want. See, that's really powerful to have the tools to be able to move forward. So now, after taking the time of the Dream, Believe, Create process and taking those 5 pillars and expanding them out, like we talked about yesterday, it's in the replay, like we talked about expanding them so that you can cover at least the next 5 years. What if you could dream so big that your life would change? That's the purpose of the Dream, Believe, Create process. The purpose is to reach the point that you believe what you just dreamt. So what happens from there? You get to create it. And when you are passionately connected to that, you get to create it. There's no stopping you. You can't stop. You've seen something, you can't go back. It's like driving in a desolate place. You're really hungry and thirsty, and you've been driving for 12 hours where there's not another human soul. And all of a sudden, you go through some mountain ranges and it opens up to the most gorgeous little area, sort of like an oasis. There's 3 or 4 different kinds of your favorite food places. There's hotels, there's pools to play in, everything you wanted. So change your perspective on what you have to what you can create. Remember when we were in school as kids, don't dream, stop daydreaming, get back here. The daydreamers are the ones that actually live probably the happiest lives. So this is an individual thing for each person, right? So today we get to move forward from the Dream, Believe, Create process into writing now the story that you dreamt, meaning as you create this, write this out. I kept it in my heart. I didn't have to write it out. It was so powerful. There was no stopping me. Y'all have heard my story. It's in the book. It literally changed that day when that process came through me. When I heard a male masculine voice, which is how I hear the divine. And if that's me, as a masculine person, right on, I guess. I don't know, my higher self. So the point is that this is an incredibly powerful exercise, an incredibly powerful experience for you. So take it and do it. So many times in our growth process, we get to, I shouldn't say we get to, because we do get to, but most people don't take advantage of, even if you see, wow, I can see a glimmer of something different there. What if my life could totally change if I decided to do this process? If I took the time for me, what would that feel like? What would that be like? See, most people don't educate themselves, and I'm going to be outright frank here. Let's call it what it is. Most people don't educate themselves. Why? We're too old. We have all this early paradigm crap going on in our head. So from a spiritual teacher, a coach of 16 years, guess what I'm doing now? I just signed up for 4 classes, 3 with one teacher that I want to follow. And I talked to her, I had a meeting with her, and I said, look, I've only had 2 teachers in my life, two that I valued enough to have as a teacher. I want you as my teacher. So I'm a mystic, a spiritual mystic, but I want to know more. I want to know all the areas. I want to be refreshed, all of that. Do this for you, whatever it is that makes you excited, that will up level your life, that will change who you are, that'll give you the ability. Many of you know I've seen death's door many times, literally many times. And I was a hospice nurse because when I was 13, my father died of cancer. And I remember the day that he died. And this has to do with this story here, guys. I remember the day that he died. We got a phone call about 5 a.m. My mom woke me up, not my other siblings, but just me. And she said, Daddy's going on. His hands are cold. The nurse is called. It's time to come. And so we got in the car and we went there. And I remember my mom saying, if anything, so I was raised metaphysical. I'm very spiritual, always have been, always have had my moments with God. That was just my personal choice. And my mom said to me, if anything happens to Daddy when I'm not in the room, remind him that God is his life, that God is his life. And I think it was about 8 in the morning. We had been there since at least 6. And my father passed on. And it was the most incredible experience because it was like a coat, like the air. We have those, so we have those blow up things in people's yards, right? And when they're not on, they go whoop, and they're down and they're flat. And then when they come to life, they just regenerate themselves. So I could feel like everything out of him. And I stood up and I leaned over him. And I said, Daddy, come back. Daddy, come back. And I tried not to cry. And I tapped him on the chest several times. Daddy, God is your life. Come back. God is your life. Well, my dad came back. And there he was. In that moment, I knew I wanted to be a hospice nurse. So when I was 18, that's what I did. I went to college for that. And what I learned from that experience, I was not a hospice nurse for long. A couple years did me in because I have a big heart and I fall in love with people. But what, and they would die and it would break my heart. You're with them for months and then they go. So what I learned from this experience working with people crossing over, and I've had many, is on our deathbed, guess what everyone says? I wish I knew love more and was closer with my family or my loved ones. That's what every single person had said. There were a couple of people that were okay in their life, happy and content. Maybe their spouse had already passed on, and the thought was that they got to go see them or be with them in the soul place. But for the majority of people, and I can tell you this from my own personal experience, what you want when you're on death's door crossing over is you want life and love. So this is the time, you guys, to create your life. It's not about in 5 years, in a year, in 6 months. We never know what's going on with us. We never know what the universe has for us. This is not to scare you. This is to love you into action for yourself, literally. So when I say that the Dream, Believe, Create process is powerful, it's why Lori took it. She was a student of mine. And I could see clearly into her, and that's why we became business partners, because she was a powerful coach to begin with, and I coach coaches. And when I could see into her and knew that she was a magnificent human being and a magnificent partner for work, we just took off. But she loves the Dream, Believe, Create process. She sees the power. She saw it with herself. She worked it. She had a process very similar. And so that's why it's in the Academy. And there's at least 3 modules that focus on there because we want you to create what you want in life. But if you don't look at your life, how are you to create your life, right? If you don't look at the bad or the negative or the past, we can call it the past. We can call it whatever we want that supports us. But until we look at that and say, okay, this is what defined me up until this very moment. This is who I was. This is what defined me. And then you get to change it. And you get to step into that limit. You get to find, as I talk in the book, your passion core. That so funny. I was branded the Passion Muse years ago. For years I was, until I think it was 2016, I took my name back as Mia Signs Enterprises, because nobody understood. A lot of people didn't understand about the self-love that I was bringing in and this until about that time. And then all these coaches started teaching this and relationship stuff. And, you'll see that a lot of coaches start to follow each other. It's really weird, but good, I guess. So the point is that everything in this space is your ability to shift and change who you are. You never have to stay the same. You never have to live your old story. And you most certainly don't have to live your circumstances how you're living them. Now, we have people in our following of our group, people who have low income, people who have hardships, people who have this, people who are sick, chronically ill. What they learn is, one, a lot of them heal it and get out of it, or they change the energy of their experience so that it doesn't affect them, meaning they're not affected in here. Also, their situation becomes lighter. They may not be living in the Taj Mahal, but they are living lighter, easier. Things flow to them. It's not a struggle. That is a self-awareness within you, clearing and creating something different. Yesterday, we talked about faith. It's the faith within you that you can do it. Why? Because you've connected. Here's that term again, your passion core. You connected to the passionate part of your being. As children, or some of us are very passionate. I was always told by people, wow, you're so passionate. You just see it in your eyes. And that's literally the one quality that kept me moving in this process about this book that I wrote was a process of coming back to life. I should have called it Coming Back to Life, but I think that Mirror, Mirror, a step-by-step guide to a life that loves you back was more along my branding. But when you think about it, this book, this Mirror Mirror book, is really about a book to bring you back to life, to give you the life that you deserve. We follow everything from other people. That's how humans are. We used to sit around campfires and learn from our elders, our parents, everyone. It was a community thing. Then times changed and we came through the Industrial Revolution and everything got faster and faster and nobody had time to share the experiential things about life. It was harder, darker, more angry. So you guys have the ability to restructure your life. Doesn't matter if you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. We have someone in the academy who's 80 and writing, it's already written as a children's book that I'm publishing for her through my publishing company. Amazing. Found her an artist out of 30 she chose. Great relationship back and forth between the artist and her. I'm the one that oversees the project. The point is this woman didn't give up. Her dream was to get this book published. And it's a beautiful book. So those of us who have thought, oh, I'm too old for this, I'm too old, that's bull. 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 We're not at our end. And guess what? When we feel we're at our end, we have choices. Are we at our end? Or can we heal ourselves out of this? Even if your soul is tired, you can ask for like a reclamation of your soul, a rejuvenation. I'm not saying that I'm asking you to live 500 years. I'd like to try, But I am saying that you have choices in your life, far more. You have human free will and you have a divine spiritual free will. These are things that you need to claim to create your life. So if you wrote your book today about the things that you found in the Dream, Believe, Create process, what would that look like? How could you up-level your life? Without fear, how could you up-level your life? So your assignment is, from the book, to write your future story. You have to know who you are. Now, there's a piece in the book following this, going deeper. Let's see. So we just went deeper with the Dream, Believe, Create. Now we're working with deep pockets of external resistance. So, and it's this is very cleverly written, this book. It's to bring people through it. So without reading it, here's what I'm gonna share about the deep pockets, because it's written so that it's wonderful to read and you stay along with your attention. Deep pockets is about those moments that you've fallen and you can't get up. Literally, I've fallen and I can't get up. Thank you, Michelle. We'll see you tomorrow. Those are those spaces where somebody dies, there's a car accident, you're injured, you're sick, whatever, you lose your job, somebody robs you, you lose all your money. You have a choice what you want to do and where you want to go. Meaning, how long are you going to stay down? Right? Some people will stay down for the rest of their life. Some people will stay down for 6 or 7 years. Everything has an appropriate time. The appropriate time is up to the individual. It's not for Mia to say, your spouse of 60 years died, get over it. It's not like that. It's about living. It's about loving. And it's about moving forward. So every doom, gloom, and whatever is about discovering the love within you. There, I said it. So you get choices with the deep pockets. You get to choose again. Everything is a choice for you. Maybe for the first time in your life, you're realizing, I have a choice. I'm not just going to move along with how it's sunshine. Okay, I got to go eat. Okay, I'm hungry for lunch. Okay, it's dinner time. The sun's down. I got to get ready and figure out what I'm going to do and go to bed. And then it starts all over day. How boring. So in those moments when you've fallen and you can't get up, syndrome type of feeling, you get to have a choice. The thing about human brain is we get to restructure and grow neural pathways into a new way. That means a new pattern is starting. It's like planting a seed. You plow the soil, you make it right, you stick in a hole, you put the seed in, you pat it, you put a little bit of water, and then you're going to wait for that plant to grow. You are that plant. Those ideas are seeded into you. They get to grow and form a new neural pathway. If you stop thinking that you've fallen and you can't get up, so if you've had some kind of a major loss, or have had a fight with someone, or have lost a job, how long will you allow yourself to keep moving through that before you stand up and move forward? My suggestion is this. It's according to, of course, how deep the situation is, but the idea of mental fortitude, which is the development of the emotional brain, right, to make it emotionally mature, to handle everything. The mental fortitude is about being able to choose the right emotional decision for your life. When my first husband, and I talked a little bit about this yesterday, had embezzled right after we had gotten divorced, when our monies were getting settled, had embezzled $100,000 from me and actually left the country. He came back, of course, but actually left the country. I had a choice when I realized that that money had come in and out of my account when I saw it that morning. I had a choice on what to do. I could have given up. That was part of my retirement. I could have just collapsed. That MF person, I could have gone that way, cursing him out. But I had done enough work. I was already a coach, all of that. I stood there, and it doesn't matter about being a coach. It matters about the work you're doing for yourself. So as I was absorbing all this, I was like, okay, this is a deep pocket moment. What do we do? In fact, this is where I identified to write about deep pockets. Because on a personal level, I could have gone down forever. I could have bitched about it. It would have held me down. But I felt within about 5 minutes a grace of abundance flowing through me. I can't explain to you except for that during those years when I had, and I still do it today, it's just my mind for the last 4 years was focused on healing cancer. But in life, I would feel these moments of abundance because I've done the work, right? And I do the work all the time. So I felt this rumbling of abundance. I first started learning how to work with energy and movement like that, not energy like Reiki and stuff, but the energy of the flow of the universe started coming to me when I created my magazine, Bella Mia magazine, because I learned that after it was published, each issue, there was a roar from the universe of magnificent abundance. And I could feel it for a week. And so I decided to live in that gratitude. So when this happened, and my money was taken, and this roar of abundance started to roll through me, I said, I'm going with that. I'm not going down, I'm going with that. What happened, the transformation was so fast within myself that I up leveled spiritually and energetically. A new system came through my body called the Dream, I call it the Dream.Believe.Create process, where I became a medical intuitive, seeing into people's bodies, being able to clear stuff, heal stuff. Was my magnificent gift. Now, everyone is different. Not everyone wants to be a spiritual genie, right? Some people want to be a mama. Some people want to be an artist. Some people want to be something else. Choose what you want. But do you see how my gift was given and that gift kept rumbling along? Because I chose not to fall and go under into the deep pockets and stay there. From that, from that ability, it was around the end of August. Within a week or two, that other thing came through me so powerfully. And because I have an online business, I contacted my people on my email subscriber list and I said, this has just happened to me. Who would like to have a treatment? And so I was dedicated to 30 treatments in 30 days. I gave 60. And then I was asked to go on stage and give it to 100 people. That was a gift. See how it builds when we stay in our right energetic flow? That was in November. So August, September, then November that. Then in January, I was asked to speak on stage in New York with Marianne Williamson. Ooh, what a gift. When we were there, the other gift that kept coming from that was she kept citing my work. She stood on this backstage listening. I was the speaker right before her. And so she kept saying, she was talking about self-love, and she said, just like Mia said, and everybody's head would flip around looking at me. The point I'm telling you is we don't have to fall down. There are energetic gifts in our life that we have to look for and follow. Do you want to be sorrowful and half dead if somebody leaves you or they die? Or your money is wiped out or your house is burnt down? Or do you want to stand up and live a greater life than even that you had? That's my point. So the story is to write what your future is about. Now, I do want to share a few little things. Got to do this because it's the love that I have. Lori and I created the Academy in 2022. And it's been a beautiful process. It's a 16 modular program. We have people in there and that's the Greatest You program. You can see it at www.thegreatestyouacademy.com. We also have in there that we gift is Get Ready for Divine Love Connection. We also have a bunch of meditations from me and other things. So it's about a mastery of self-development, meaning you learn your nervous system, how to calm down, you learn somatic exercising, you go through all these spaces, you learn how to be mindful. You create a life that loves you back in the Dream, Believe, Create process. You get to choose and develop your life. We also have that at 50% off for an early bird Black special price. It's going through till Sunday after Thanksgiving. So the point is you get to choose. So also 50% off is pretty amazing. So you get to choose how you want to live your life. I suggest you write your new story. I suggest you step into it. Because if you don't do it now, there will come a day, and I promise you, and I know this sounds horrible, but there will come a day that you wish that you had done it. The easiest thing is to do our work now so that we become proficient at it, so that when we need it, we're already masters at it. Looking at my life as a little girl manifesting for the first time at age 4, having healings throughout my life, healing broken bones, migraines in my pupils that ruptured and I shouldn't be able to see, healing that. A lot of different things. It's not just being in that wheelchair from 9/11 and the accident at the store that sells everything. That's just a name I gave because I'm not allowed to say. Falling those boxes, hitting me in the head and putting me in a wheelchair for 3.5, 4 years until doctors said, you have less than 2 years to live, get your affairs in order. That's where this story comes in, a month after that of this book, the Dream, Believe, Create, all of that stuff, teaching the mirror work, all of that. This is powerful stuff. This is stuff from a warrior, and I will say a warrior has brought to the public. So please create your life story. Okay, I would love it if you guys share tomorrow, and if you don't have it done, still come. Share tomorrow those aspects of your future story. It's so important, even if it's just, you guys, even if you haven't had the time to do it all, because it does take a little bit of time. Think about it, even just for a minute or two in each category. Sit there, look at it. What would love look like? What would my spirituality look like? And go down that list and just do some bullet points for yourself so you can go back and create your story and do the whole thing. Okay? Any questions? We are all quiet today. All right, everybody. If there's no questions on any of this, on the deep pockets, on the mirror work, on the Dream, Believe, Create, if there are no questions, then I am going to close us out.
Can I just speak up, or I was looking for the hand raise and I couldn't find
Please,
it, but now I realized.
please do, honey.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Mia. I'm so touched by you and your story and your history. I'm just so inspired. And the deep pockets that you defined today is exactly what I was sharing about what I was feeling yesterday. And I'm like, wow, that's it. She just defined it. So I would love to understand a little bit more about the deep sockets. I don't know if there
Deep
any more that you
pockets?
think you can say about that.
Yeah. So give me an idea of a deep pocket moment for you and let's bust it open.
Yeah, thanks. So it's this like what I'm feeling right now is this kind of bit stuck, but I'm just kind of burnt out. And like you mentioned it really started from my mom's passing, like 3 years ago, and all the tasks that I had to do that were identified with that. And it's just still going on, and I'm just tired, and I'm just I just feel so depleted, and I just feel stuck, and it's more like the world is cool. It's not the world. I know it's all happening within me. It's kind of this mood that I'm in, and having some challenge shaking it off. And it just sounds like the deep pocket that you were talking about.
Yeah. So are you still dealing with legal stuff?
Um,
Is that
I,
what the
not so
issue
much,
is?
not necessarily legal stuff. It's just stuff associated with that whole change that happens. Like just dealing with clearing things out, and just dealing with just still, to be honest, I think at the beginning I was just doing what I had to do, and now it's like I think the grief is just coming to me now because I had to be in take care of what needs to be taken care of, and
Yep.
it's just the accumulation of it is hitting me now. Like this is the first, like I'm feeling kind of a little bluish about the holidays coming because I really want her to be here, and I miss her, and all of that stuff, and just, guess I haven't, I just need more time for me time, I guess, maybe, I don't know. I hope I'm giving you enough information.
Yeah.
It's just the accumulation of it all.
So let's jump back. Also, is your father still here or is he gone?
Oh no, he went long, long, long
Okay.
before.
So honey,
Yeah.
the thing about losing a parent, um, I recognize this when I lost my mom in 2019. Um, it's a powerful place when a woman, because women birth women or women birth children, right? And it might be for a man. I'm not a male, so I don't understand. Larry, you're on the line here. If you have any insight to this, please hop in here. So as a woman, when we lose our family completely and we become the matriarch and we are the last, we may have siblings, but we don't have grandparents, we don't have aunts and uncles, don't even have our parents. For a woman to lose, and it might be for a man too, and I think it would be, to lose where you come from. Sorry, it's going to make me cry. Because it's a beautiful thing when you think about it. To lose where you come from, we come from the womb of our mother. So that beautiful mother womb loss is a huge thing. It's the lightning inside of us. Even if we've had horrific experiences, like my mother was mentally ill with schizophrenia and bipolar narcissism. Even if you had a mother like that, my mother loved me and she beat the hell out of me and she terrorized me, but I knew that woman loved me. So I experienced a great womb loss. So that could be part of it. You have to realize that and be gentle with yourself, that when we lose where we come from, and that's why I think this is probably something that men might experience too, because they come out of a womb too from a woman, right? That it's a deep loss. There's a different connection with a mother than with a father. The father produces more of the family safety in the sense that there's an income, or hopefully, that there are snuggles instead of every day taking care of you, right? The timing, they're also disciplinarians at times, but generally mothers are more on hand. So it's a different relationship when you lose each one of them. One of them's sorrowful because you loved your daddy, and you might not have loved your daddy, you know. The female one is hard that way too, but also because it's where you came from. Now, moving through your stuff, I definitely, you mentioned feeling low, and I'm assuming that that's also energetically, and that maybe you need to find different stuff to bring yourself up. That is exactly it. Anything that takes us out of our joy for I was going to say for more than 5 minutes, anything that takes us out of our joy for even a few days, you've got to look at that, guys, and say, what is this and why is this happening? I treat depression the same, and it's a chronic illness. So even if it's And 3 years is a long time, honey, to struggle with this, right? So this is a chronic situation. And so everything that's continuous, it's not for our highest benefit, we need to look at. We need to change. We need to bring in laughter. We need to bring in joy. We need to bring in happiness. We need to focus on ourselves. You know, what do I need now? How can I make this more special? Self-love is about nurturing self. So even with your food choices, doesn't mean they have to be bad, but make it exciting. Okay, so I'm going to make, you know, you guys might not think this is exciting, and I'm just pulling something out of the hat. Say you're going to make meatloaf and mashed potatoes. Do it with excitement. What can you add to your meatloaf that would be slightly different and more exciting for you? Right? My uh there's somebody that comes and cooks for us sometimes, because you know I wasn't able to take care of myself for a while when I had cancer, and sometimes he would put stuffing inside the meatloaf. It gave it a different texture. It gave it a different, you know. So whatever you do, you have the choice on everything, even from the moment you wake up to what you drink. Do I want hot lemon water today? How would that feel for me? Do I want to make coffee or tea? Or do I want to make some kind of a balm drink, you know, which is like the lemons, the garlic, the you guys are going to be like, the ginger, the turmeric, you know, something for your health that's hot. You have choices on everything. And this is why it's important for us to understand where we came from, where we want to go, and invest the energy back into us. When you develop that newfound connection, this may not be exactly in your space, Anna, right now, how I'm talking or what I'm going to talk about, but it is for a lot of people, so I'm going to say it. In your newfound space of love, it's not selfish, and you get to redirect it to yourself. This is how we build love for others, love for ourselves. It has to come through us first to even understand it. Then we get to spread it out. But we have to build it and gift it to ourselves. When we are old and dying, or when we are sick and dying, I wasn't afraid that people didn't know how much I loved them. What I was concerned about was struggling. That was it. Because I've worked on my relationships with everybody, I've worked on myself. So again, it goes back to love, self-love. Larry, was there something that you wanted to add to that?
Well, I was going to say well, I may not be the best because I only lost my father and my grandfather and my grandmother. I haven't lost my mom yet. But from a man's standpoint, it's not quite as uh, where you came from as it would be for a woman, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, so Anna, where else do you need support in this? Oh, part of the deep pockets is choosing how long you're going to stay in this space, whether it's another 24 hours, whether you're going to till the end of the night and you're going to flip the switch and wake up rejuvenated. Remember, our mind is the best medicine for creating our energy. If we tell ourselves, I want to be happy, I am happy, everything changes from the negative. It does. You have to practice it for it to become a benefit ritual to work. So if you had spent your whole life, which a lot of people do, and I curse, I'm a big cursor. I'm an angel and a sailor. I'm a lot less of someone who curses than I used to. But I do curse. So let's use something like that. I'm not saying I'm a bad person. I'm just saying if you grew up one way doing one thing, okay, let's use a vegetable. peas in a pod. If you grew up taking the peas out of the pod and you went to dinner at somebody's house who actually wanted to steam them and have a special sauce on the outside too, and not just the peas inside, you might go, what is this garbage? These aren't peas. This is weird, right? So it's a change of thought into something different. So when you're younger, the way your family behaved, the way you behaved, you have a choice now to say, oh, I want to be a if this situation fits anybody. I'm not pointing fingers. I have no clue. I'm just talking to the masses and the people on the recording, on the replay. If you say, I want to be a more right up, or I want to be an upright individual, I want to be really honest, I want to keep my word. My word is very important. I feel like it's important for me to be loving and kind. The only way to get there is by actually doing it, right? By actually doing those steps, those works on being clear and clean. I'm sorry, my phone keeps ringing. I just need to turn it off. Everybody is like literally ringing me. It's an action step that we have to take. This is why knowing who we are is so valuable. This is why writing your story of your past and your future are so valuable. Some people will want to write it and get it out there to the world and be published. Some people want to write it just so that they can identify. I've been a magazine publisher and a book publisher for years. And I discovered even more the importance of our story recently when I started writing my book about cancer. Because everybody kept saying, you've had such a, after the first time, it was so amazing. You healed this life-threatening, you refused to have surgery and you healed it in 4 months. One of the 5 tumors was 11.63 centimeters. That's that big, bigger than birthing a baby. That's massive. I could feel it in my body when I would laugh and it would not move. And, we laugh and we move, our bodies move, and there's a piece of me that felt stuck. So I know what it's like to do that. And people would say, write that book. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, I'm not ready. Then it came back again because of that resistant gene. And then I went through that. And they're like, write your book. I'm like, I'm not ready. Then I went through another battle and now I'm cancer free. And so it's literally about looking at our journey, absorbing it. When we live in the moment with it, how we always do, or even in trauma, we don't get to look at the little nuances and gain the experience that allows that we've grown through, good or bad, it doesn't matter, that we've grown through, to identify with it, to absorb it, to have it be a part of us. So I've gone back through writing my story so that I can look at my life. I'm doing this for me. Am I going to publish it? I believe so. But it started out for me because I wanted to examine my own journey. And I literally, it's written kind of like a novel instead of like a nonfiction, because I'm telling my story. I was telling it to myself. And then I get to see what it's all about, who I am, where I've come to. This is why your story is so important, guys. Not just, many people want to have their stories published. That's fine, great, wonderful. All for that. But the purpose is so that you can understand who you are and move through your life to change areas, or even to embrace the ones you didn't realize were there. That's part of your magnificence. You've got to understand who you are. Okay, everybody. Oh, this was great. Thank you so much. And we'll see you tomorrow. Even do your, your bullet points of things in your life, in your news story, where you want to go to. So love, put something, even if you don't have anything, I'm fine there. And go down to the next one. But take the time for you, because you are important and you matter. All right. Thank you all. Thank you for the thank yous. I see them coming in the chat. You're all welcome. All right. Have a really beautiful day.